Picture your life right now. What do you see? If all you see are failures, I want you to know that this view can change. If you're staring at an endless wasteland, I'm here to help you spot the seeds of opportunity. The transformation begins in the most powerful place imaginable, your mind. In this video, we'll explore 5 proven techniques to turn mental defeat into victory. Each one taps into something extraordinary that you already possess, the incredible power of human thought. Through the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, you'll learn how to reshape negative thoughts into a driving force for growth. Stay with me until the end, because each technique builds upon the last, forming a complete framework for change. By the time we're done, these 5 strategies won't just be abstract concepts, they'll be practical tools you can apply every single day. You'll discover how to transform failure into fuel, making yourself stronger, more resilient, and more powerful than ever before. Think of it this way, no matter how rough your life feels right now, it could be worse. You have freedom, movement, and choices. But one of the most famous Stoic thinkers of all time, a man who embodied resilience and whose wisdom is still studied today, had none of those luxuries. Unlike us, he was born into slavery. His name was Epictetus, and he lived in 50 AD under brutal conditions. His master permanently damaged his leg, yet despite this suffering, Epictetus became one of the most influential philosophers in history. This man, who had nothing, no freedom, no possessions, not even the right to live on his own, discovered something profound. While his body was in chains, his mind remained free. He realized that true power isn't found in controlling external circumstances but in mastering your response to them. Over time, his life changed. He was eventually freed, but instead of becoming bitter, despite having every reason to be, he built a school of philosophy where he taught others how to find strength in adversity. His teachings have influenced Roman emperors, modern CEOs, and even prisoners of war, proving that the principles of Stoicism can transform any life, no matter how difficult. Now, let's dive into these 5 powerful techniques that will help you reclaim control, shift your perspective, and turn obstacles into opportunities. Light bulb fire. To survive unimaginable conditions, we know and honor the name of Epictetus more than 1,000 years later. Think about where he started and where he ended, using only the power of his mind. If Epictetus could find freedom and strength while literally enslaved, imagine what you can do with the challenges you're facing today. His life proves a fundamental truth: your circumstances don't define you, your response to them does. Now, let me show you how to apply his wisdom to your own life. Epictetus once said, "Some things are in our control, and others are not." Simple, right? But once you truly understand this idea, it can transform your life. Think about your last major setback. Maybe it was a job rejection, a failed relationship, or a missed opportunity. Now, take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write what you could control about that situation, on the other, write what you couldn't. Most people waste enormous mental energy worrying about things they cannot influence. For example, you can't change the weather, so why stress about it? As a single voter, you can't single-handedly change an election, so why let it consume you? If you lose a job because of unfair leadership, that decision is outside your control, but how you performed in that role, the effort you put in, and how you respond next are entirely within your power. This isn't just philosophy, it's mental fitness. Every time you catch yourself stressing, ask, is this in my control? If it's not, let it go. If it is, take action. Nothing in between. Now, think about what Epictetus had to work with. He was a slave. He owned nothing. He had no freedom and very little control over his material life. Yet, he persevered. He kept his mind and spirit strong, refusing to be broken by his circumstances. He had a worse deal than we do, yet he not only survived, he overcame. And he did it using the power of Stoic philosophy. Let Epictetus be your inspiration. If he could do it, so can you. That brings us to our first technique. The view from above. This simple exercise will shift your perspective instantly. Think about something bothering you right now. Let's say you lost a job opportunity you really wanted. Your mind starts racing with thoughts like, I'm not good enough or I'll never succeed. This is where a powerful Stoic thought process called the control principle becomes your greatest tool. One of the greatest mental superpowers you can develop is learning to break down any situation into what you can and cannot control. Let's say you faced a setback, maybe you didn't get a job you wanted. What could you control? Your preparation, your presentation, your effort. What couldn't you control? The interviewer's decision, their personal preferences, external circumstances. By design, those factors were never in your control to begin with. When you separate these elements, you stop carrying the weight of things you were never meant to influence anyway. But here's the best part, once you identify what you can control, you can create an action plan. Maybe you can improve your interview skills, build a stronger portfolio, or expand your network. Suddenly, instead of feeling helpless, you're in the driver's seat. That's the kind of mental transition we aim to make. Try this with any challenge you're facing. Draw a line between what you can and cannot control, and watch how your perspective shifts from feeling trapped to feeling empowered. Now, let's build on that with our second technique, self-dialogue. Once you've identified what you can control, it's time to master the conversation happening in your own mind. Think about how you talk to yourself when things go wrong. Many of us are our own worst critics, saying things like, I'm such a failure. Nothing ever works out for me. I should just give up. Sound familiar? Here's a powerful shift. Instead of letting these thoughts spiral, imagine you're advising your best friend. You wouldn't tell them they're worthless after one setback, that would be cruel and unfair. Instead, you'd say something like, okay, what can we learn from this, or that was a tough loss, but if we recover, we can win. Try this right now. Take the situation you just analyzed from Technique 1. When negative thoughts arise, pause and ask yourself, what would I tell someone I care about in this situation? Then, use that same compassionate and constructive voice with yourself. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic thinker, used this approach in his famous work Meditations. He wrote letters to himself, practicing self-dialogue as a way to reshape his perspective on challenges. Self-dialogue isn't just talk, it's a tool for mental resilience and transformation. This leads us to our third powerful technique, role models. The Stoics understood something crucial: we learn best through examples, not just ideas. Think about Epictetus. He became a role model for countless people and still inspires millions today. Now, think about someone you admire who stays calm under pressure. Maybe it's a parent who faced adversity with grace, a leader who remains poised in difficult times, or even a fictional character who embodies resilience. Role models show us what's possible, and by studying them, we can adopt their mindset, strategies, and strength in our own lives. The key isn't to idolize role models but to understand their thought process. When facing a challenge, ask yourself, how would my role model handle this? Would they take a step back before reacting? Would they look for an opportunity within the setback? Would they simply accept what they can't change and focus on what they can? A modern example of this mindset is Admiral James Stockdale, who was a prisoner of war in Vietnam for 7 years. He didn't just endure, he led other prisoners, stayed mentally strong, and emerged from captivity stronger. He later became a vice presidential candidate, sharing his story with millions. His resilience wasn't just about survival, it was about applying Stoic principles to overcome even the worst conditions. So, choose your role model carefully. Look for people who demonstrate real resilience, not just success. Study how they think, not just what they achieved. Then, the next time you're in a crisis, channel their mindset and ask, how would they handle this? We all need guidance from time to time, let their example empower and guide you. Now, we arrive at arguably the most powerful technique of all, reframing failure. Learn to see failure not as an endpoint, but as feedback. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's a complete transformation in how you process setbacks. Think about Thomas Edison's famous response when asked about his thousands of failed attempts to create the light bulb. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This wasn't just a clever quote, it was Stoicism in action. Edison saw each failure as a data point, not a defeat. That mindset made him one of America's greatest entrepreneurs, forever etched into the history of progress and innovation. So how do you make this shift yourself? The next time something goes wrong, pause before negative thoughts take over. Ask yourself: 1. What did this teach me? 2. What skills can I develop from this? 3. How does this prepare me for future opportunities? Let's make this concrete. Say you pitch an idea at work, and it gets rejected. Instead of seeing it as proof that you're not good enough, reframe it. Now, you know more about what your audience wants. You gain valuable presentation experience. You build courage by putting yourself out there. Suddenly, that failure transforms into a stepping stone. This is exactly what Epictetus meant when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Every setback is raw material for growth, if you know how to use it. Start by carefully examining every time you've used the word failure in your life. Then, shift your mindset. This transformation becomes even more powerful when you actively seek out challenges instead of avoiding them. Most people arrange their lives to avoid failure, but what if you did the opposite? What if you searched for opportunities where you once feared failure? That's the difference between stagnation and true growth. Most people minimize the possibility of failure by sticking to what they know. They take the safe route, avoiding risks and new challenges where they might fall short. But every major breakthrough in history came from someone who was willing to fail repeatedly. The Wright brothers crashed countless times before achieving flight. Marie Curie conducted thousands of failed experiments before winning the Nobel Prize. James Dyson created over 5,000 failed prototypes before inventing the vacuum cleaner that made him world famous. These innovators understood something crucial: failure isn't just something to tolerate, it's an essential part of the discovery process. The goal isn't to fail less, it's to learn more from each failure. When you internalize this mindset, you'll find yourself taking bigger risks, pursuing bolder goals, and ultimately achieving greater success than those who played it safe. This brings us to our final technique, goal setting, the method that ties everything together. The Stoics understood something profound about human nature: we don't suffer from the facts of our challenges, but from how we frame them. Here's what I mean: when facing a big goal, your mind might jump straight to the end result. I need to completely change my life, or I have to master this skill immediately. This all-or-nothing thinking is a recipe for feeling overwhelmed and giving up. Instead, think like a Stoic. Break down that mountain into manageable hills. If you want to change careers, don't start with "get my dream job." Start with "research one company today" or "update my resume to version 1. Progress isn't about giant leaps, it's about consistent small steps. Try this approach: take your big goal and break it into the smallest possible actions, things so small that you can't fail at them. For example, if you want to write a book, begin with writing just one paragraph. Everyone can write 4 lines. These micro-goals might seem too easy, but that's exactly the point. Here's the magic: completing 100 micro-goals adds up to one very real, very big achievement. If your goal is to become great, to leave a lasting impact, this is how you do it. Epictetus did it. He went from slave to renowned philosopher through countless small choices and daily actions. Your transformation can be achieved the same way. Now, let's bring everything together. Let's see these 5 techniques in action with a real-world example. Meet Sarah. Sarah opened her dream coffee shop 6 months ago, and after an exciting start, she now faces a serious challenge. Revenue is down 40% from her expectations. She's wondering if she should close down. Instead of giving into frustration, Sarah applies the Stoic techniques to navigate this obstacle. First, she uses the control principle. She takes out her notebook and draws a line down the middle. On the can control side, she lists her shop's quality, menu offerings, and marketing efforts. On the can't control side, she notes rising coffee bean prices and ongoing road construction blocking her storefront. Immediately, she stops wasting energy worrying about the construction and shifts her focus to what she can improve. Next comes self-dialogue. Instead of telling herself, "I'm a failure" or "my dream is dead," she reframes her thoughts as if she were advising a close friend. You're learning the hardest part of business ownership right now. Every successful cafe owner faces setbacks like this. By changing the way she talks to herself, she strengthens her mindset. For role models, Sarah looks for guidance from those who have overcome similar challenges. She researches local success stories and reaches out to a nearby restaurant owner who faced similar struggles. This mentor shares insights on how they adapted and grew despite setbacks, giving Sarah renewed hope and actionable strategies. Then comes reframing. Instead of seeing the 40% revenue drop as proof of failure, she views it as valuable market feedback. Low afternoon sales indicate an opportunity to innovate her offerings during that time of day. Customer complaints about limited seating highlight the need for expansion. Instead of being discouraged, she treats each problem as a clue for improvement. Finally, Sarah uses goal setting to break down her turnaround plan. Instead of the overwhelming task of saving the business, she sets smaller, achievable targets. This week, survey 50 customers about their preferences. Next week, test 3 new menu items. By the end of the month, redesign the seating layout to add 6 more spots. This is the true power of Stoic techniques. They don't just help you survive challenges, they help you use those challenges to become stronger than before. Whether you're starting a business, changing careers, or facing any other life challenge, these principles can guide you forward. Just like Epictetus, you have the power to transform any circumstance into an opportunity for growth. Whether you're drawing your own control line, practicing self-dialogue, or taking small but consistent steps forward, every moment is a chance to build resilience. What challenges are you facing right now? How can Stoic wisdom help you reframe and overcome them? Drop a comment below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And remember, every setback is just another step toward success. Keep pushing forward, one Stoic technique at a time.